Bro, Jordan doesn't rank in double digits in any stat, bro. Any stat in his position, he's top 10. Any stat. LeBron, you gotta get it together. This is not even. It's not even
Every
fair.
major statistical category, and there is.
It's not even fair. Statistical category.
What's good, fam? Hope all is well, and I truly thank you for tapping in. Listen, today, gonna be reacting to Torie Sama. He's a YouTuber. He's a LeBron stan who wasn't born when Jordan played. He's been force-fed all his life to believe LeBron is the GOAT and has no semblance, no idea what Michael Jordan was as a hooper. The Jordan is GOAT idea is hyperbole until he watched the best GOAT comparison video by Danger Productions. I want you to watch the mental transformation as he comes to realize there are levels to greatness, and what he thought was great is amazing, but there existed a human who was far greater, fam. The LeBron fans in y'all 40s, it's over for y'all. I read the comments and I'm convinced, like, y'all are all cooked food. Like, the LeBron Kool-Aid is way too strong. But the young cats who are coming up, they're smarter. They want the truth, even if it hurts. And this Torie Sama kid gets my respect because he took the time to cut through the brainwash and all the BS to get some context and facts on the truth about the GOAT debate. The emotional conflict is epic, but it's kids like this dude that give me the confidence the truth will never die. Fam, get in the comments and let me know what you think. Let's get it.
Jordan versus LeBron. LeBron versus Jordan. It's a debate that has captured the public's attention for the last several years, especially after this moment in 2016, when LeBron James beat the Golden State Warriors to win the third championship of his career. In LeBron's own words,
that one right there made me the greatest player of all time. That's what I felt. I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
But did it? Is everything since that moment simply icing on LeBron's cake? Or is LeBron destined to finish his career in Michael Jordan's shadow? We've all heard the arguments from LeBron supporters.
He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's more durable.
And from Jordan supporters.
Michael Jordan was merely 6-0 with 6 MVPs in the finals.
But the GOAT debate isn't as simple as the pundits make it seem. There are a number of factors relevant in determining the greatest basketball player of all time. In fact, I would say there are 5 things that really matter when determining the GOAT of any sport. These criteria are, in no particular order, accomplishments, longevity, winning, statistics, and what we'll refer to in this video as the eye test. And to be the GOAT, you don't need to be the best in any specific category, but you need to be pretty good across the board. So simply winning 7 championships, like Robert Horry did, isn't enough to get you into the conversation. When we're finished with this video, it'll be plainly obvious that one guy comes out on top. But before we get started, I want to clarify that this is not a comparison of legacies.
Okay, man, before we finish this video, y'all comment down below who y'all think is going to be on top in this GOAT comparison at the end of this video, man.
It's about who was the better basketball player. If we were talking about legacies, Jordan's is nearly untouchable. Not only did he lead basketball to global popularity, he helped transform Nike into an empire, changed the way players played and how they dressed, and he even made it cool for guys to be bald. And while those things certainly contribute to MJ's iconic status, they don't make him a better player on the court. So let's evaluate the criteria that matter, and we'll start with individual accomplishments. Take a look. Jordan had more regular season MVPs, twice as many finals MVPs, 9 more scoring titles, and
Dang, Bron, you got 1 scoring title? Whoa. And only 6. This video is 4 years old, but I don't think anything has changed since with the accolades, but only 1 scoring title. NBA All Defense, only 6. Yeah, I don't think anything's changed.
several more selections.
Hold up, fam. And what you're not counting is that those 9 all defensive selections is first team. LeBron doesn't have 6 first team selections. I believe he has either 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that. But I know he has 1 or 2 second team selections. That's a difference. Y'all don't count that. But look at the disparity. It's not even close. But LeBron fans that never even seen Jordan, y'all not even doing y'all research. Look at it's lopsided. It's crazy.
If it has, let me know.
All-defensive team, including once being named Defensive Player of the Year. LeBron has more All-Star appearances, but that's largely due to his having played more seasons. In fact, when taking into account retirements and major injuries, Jordan essentially played 13 seasons compared to 17 seasons for LeBron, making Jordan's significant lead in accomplishments all the more impressive. And that's to say nothing of MJ's brilliant college career, which saw him twice named All-American and once awarded College Player of the Year, at a time when the country's best players actually went to college. So regardless of whether you're a LeBron fan or MJ fan, you have to give the accomplishments checkmark to Jordan. The second criteria in our GOAT analysis is longevity. And this one is also a no-brainer, but this time in favor of LeBron. Not only has LeBron played more seasons in the league, but he's had a longer peak than Jordan. Jordan's peak lasted about 10 years, whereas LeBron's peak has lasted 16 years and is still going. And he's been incredibly durable during that time, missing significant time to injury only in 2019. That said, the claim that LeBron has been much more durable than Michael has been a bit overblown. Consider that Jordan played in at least 80 regular season games 11 times in his career, including all 82 games an incredible 9 times.
9 times.
Compare that to LeBron, who played in at least 80 regular season games just twice, and in all 82 games just once. So both LeBron and Jordan
Look, did I hear that correctly? Jordan played 82 games 9 times?
Yes, fam. You heard that. You heard that absolutely correctly. And what y'all also don't take into account is when you look at the physicality that he had to endure, and he still, it's not even close. Could LeBron endure that kind of physicality and still play 80? He couldn't play 80 games. He played 82 games once in his 22-year career. What? Dog. Yo, this is foolery.
And LeBron did it once? I thought, okay.
get high marks for their durability. But durability aside, the bottom line is that LeBron has sustained his level of excellence for a much longer period of time than Jordan, which puts the longevity checkmark squarely in LeBron's corner.
Anyone with $10,000 or more in credit card debt or
No,
personal loans
not
may
the
qualify for help
ad.
from National Debt Relief.
Not the ad.
That brings us to the third GOAT criteria, winning. As we all know, Jordan won 6 championships. LeBron has won 3. Jordan is 6-0 in the NBA Finals. LeBron is 3-6. Yes, LeBron has made the finals 9 times compared to only 6 times for Jordan, but let's not pretend that making the finals is the same thing, or even close to the same thing, as winning a title. Take a prime example from another sport, the Buffalo Bills. They're the only team in NFL history to appear in 4 consecutive Super Bowls. But is there a single player or fan of that team that wouldn't trade all 4 of those appearances for just 1 Super Bowl win? Frankly, talk to any fan whose team lost the season's final game and ask them how they felt afterward. Almost universally, their feelings are of sadness, anger, and disappointment. And that's just the fan.
I'm not gonna lie too, bro, as a LeBron fan, like seeing him go in those 9 championships and then he only won like 4, it sucks, bro. It feels like you didn't even, like, you went for no reason. Like, going to the finals is cool and all, but like when you don't win, it's really like you're the first loser. It's crazy. It's like, bro, it don't even matter. Like, at the end of the day, when you think about it, LeBron going that many times doesn't matter because he didn't win. Like, it's crazy.
For players.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, fam. It's absolutely bananas. You absolutely right. And the thing that y'all don't talk about is Jerry Rice, one of the all-time greats. He went to the finals 9 times, I believe, and only won once or something of that nature. It's not cute, but I want to ask LeBron fans, right? Since when did losing or just making it become better than winning it? Please answer. Please make me understand. The fact that, he brought his team there, he carried his team, or he inspired his team to get to the last game of the season. You still lost. You still lost, just like everybody else. So how does that equate to you being? I'm confused.
Those feelings are only magnified. Listen to Charles Barkley talk about losing in the NBA Finals.
And I was just in shock when it was over because I was frustrated because I couldn't wheel my team past Michael and the Bulls. And first of all, I don't think I've ever gotten over it, number one. But that was traumatic, and it's painful.
So we can all stop with this false equivalence between winning the championship and finishing runner-up. In the words of Herm Edwards, now back to Jordan and LeBron. As mentioned, on basketball's biggest stage, the NBA Finals, Jordan was 6-0. LeBron was 3-6. And frankly, that doesn't even show how lopsided their records really are. In terms of individual finals games, Jordan was 24-11. LeBron is 18-31. And that's because in 4 of his 6 finals losses, LeBron's team hasn't even been competitive. Twice he got swept, and 2 other times he lost 4-1. That includes being on the wrong side of the 2 most lopsided finals by margin of loss in NBA history. Of course, LeBron fans will tell you that the only reason
Wait, I gotta hear that again. I'm sorry, I gotta hear what you said again.
And 2 other times he lost 4-1. That includes being on the wrong side of the 2 most lopsided finals by margin of loss in NBA history. Of course, LeBron
was on the wrong side of 2 of them? The most lopsided finals in NBA history? Bro,
did you check his face? When he said, I gotta hear that again, did you see his... Yo, you know why I respect him, though? At least he's paying attention, and he's paying attention to the small things. I watch some of these other guys that do reaction videos that never seen Jordan play. They don't pay attention to a lot of the small things. That's why I don't even rock with them. But certain dudes, some of these young dudes, like this Torie Sama dude, he's very observant to the small things. Mad respect.
LeBron, I did not know it. I did not know that. That's crazy, Bron.
will tell you that the only reason for LeBron's poor finals record is that his competition was so tough. Ironically, some of these same fans criticized Jordan for losing early in his career to a Celtics team stacked with 5 Hall of Famers, and they conveniently gloss over the fact that LeBron reached the finals so many times in part because the competition in his own conference was so weak. During the vast majority of his career, LeBron played in what many dubbed the Leastern Conference because the East was so much weaker than the West. On the other hand, during Jordan's playing days, the East was generally considered the stronger conference, as Jordan had to battle through hard-fought rivalries against the Bad Boy Pistons, Patrick Ewing's Knicks, the Shaq Penny-led Magic, and Reggie Miller's Pacers. That said, if you want to blame LeBron's failure in the finals on the level of his competition...
But you know what's crazy? Those 4 teams are all good, and I even hear about them now, and Jordan's the reason why they didn't, win. He's the reason why, Reggie Miller, because my dad's favorite player is Reggie Miller. He's the reason why he didn't win. That's crazy to me.
I won't argue with you, but let's also not blow it out of proportion. If you look at the average number of wins of their finals opponents, you'll see that LeBron's finals opponents averaged 60.8 wins per season, whereas Jordan's finals opponents averaged 61.2 wins per season. So as it turns out, both players face stiff competition in the finals. But a big reason we don't hold the 93 Suns, the 96 Sonics, or the 98 Jazz in the same regard as some of LeBron's finals opponents is because, unlike LeBron's adversaries, Jordan's opponents never actually won the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Which goes to my original point, that the difference between winning the title and finishing runner-up is huge. And the reason those teams never won the title? This guy. Look, I'm not trying to say that Jordan's opponents were as good as the Warriors teams that LeBron faced 4 times in the finals. The truth is that Jordan never played a juggernaut quite like that. But there's a pretty good reason for that. Jordan's Bulls were the juggernaut. They were the team winning 70-plus games. They were the team with the target on their back every year. And as the Warriors showed us, that's not an easy place to be. As great as the Warriors were, they were never able to string together 3 consecutive championships. Jordan's...
I want y'all to understand that, because y'all gloss over the 6-0. Like, y'all done said it so much that it just escapes your mind, right? The great mighty Warriors, they couldn't three-peat once. Mike and them did it twice. Get that through your head. Twice, not once. He did it twice. Like, he did it when he first won his championship. He went on a run. He won 3. Boom. Retired. Came back. Got cracked by Orlando. The next year, ran off 3 more. Yo, that is so insane. That is, y'all just don't understand. But your mind is not, you've been so mesmerized and so hypnotized by the media that you really gloss over the accomplishment of being 6 championships in 8 years is bananas.
Bulls did it twice. So what's the greater achievement? Beating the juggernaut or being the juggernaut? Or to be more specific, beating the juggernaut 1 time out of the 4 times you faced them? Or being the juggernaut year after year after year? And then doing it again, year after year after year. There's no doubt that LeBron's victory over the 73-win Warriors was the highlight of his career. But it's not the first time that an underdog has won the championship, and there actually have been much bigger underdogs who ended up winning the title. But how many times have we seen a player lead his team to 6 championships in 8 years? Prior to Jordan's Bulls, only Bill Russell's Celtics ever accomplished that feat in the NBA, when they incredibly won 11 championships in 13 seasons. However, back then, there was an average of less than 10 teams in the league, and only a couple rounds of playoffs, so it was considerably easier to win a title. And no player, not even Bill Russell, ever had a run of winning 25 of 26 playoff series, as Michael Jordan did.
Did y'all peep that? Mike and them won 25 of 26 playoff series. That's crazy. That's like a 90% win. Yo, what are you, more than that, more than 90%. That's crazy. That's nuts. But it's like y'all just gloss over some incredible things that Jordan has accomplished. But LeBron fans, you know what? I understand. I know why you guys do that. You need everything you can. Everything, from the depths of hell, every crook and crevice that you can use in your argument to support your king. You're gonna do it. That's just how it is. I'm really starting to understand it. And y'all are to the point that y'all have really become fanatics. Like anything. It's so, the desperation is crazy.
And Michael's pattern of winning goes beyond the NBA. Let's not forget that Jordan has never won anything but gold in the Olympics. And he also earned an NCAA.
But gold. How many bronze your boy got? How many bronze does Braun have? How many bronze medals does your boy have? Y'all need to stop.
Championship, in which he hit the first of 2 iconic championship-winning shots in his career. All that is to say, when it comes to winning, the checkmark clearly goes to Jordan.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
Yo, this is,
Okay,
Bron, come on, bro.
100.
Bron, this ain't looking good,
On to the
bro.
4th GOAT criteria. Statistics.
Yo, did you see his face, yo? Yo, the disappointment. He's like, yo. Like, I can't believe what I'm listening to. This can't be real. Like, but it's facts. It's facts. I'm sorry, Torie Sama. This is facts, brah.
Statistics. This one is a bit more complicated. I mean, how do you statistically evaluate 2 players who played in different eras under different rules at different positions? One way of doing it is to simply look at the 8 traditional statistics of basketball. Points, assists, rebounds, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and turnovers. And we'll focus on per-game stats rather than cumulative stats, since cumulative stats such as total career points and total career assists really speak to longevity, which is already its own category of the GOAT analysis. Per-game stats, on the other hand, is more of an apples-to-apples comparison. So looking at the 8 traditional stats, we see that Jordan leads LeBron in 5 of them: points per game, steals per game, blocks per game, free throw percentage, and fewer turnovers. LeBron leads in the other 3: assists per game.
Jordan is beating Bron in blocks too? Oh, let me see something.
Yes, fam. And you know what else he's beating him in? But once again, he's beating him in offensive rebounding. Now, please explain to me, right, for all of you LeBron fans, how does a 6'6", 200-pound guard beat a 6'9", 270-pound human being in offensive rebounding? Please explain that to me. I'll wait. And y'all look at this and say, oh, LeBron averages more rebounds than Jordan. 6.2 rebounds. LeBron averages 7.4. Yet he's 3 inches taller, damn near, 60, 70 pounds heavier. Y'all gotta miss me. That's not great. It's average.
So Jordan is easily, I'm not gonna lie, Jordan's easily a better defender than Bron. Like, he's a better defender than Bron completely. That's not even in debate. 2.7 turnovers to 3.5. Okay. Dang.
Rebounds per game, and field goal percentage. But that's a pretty simplistic way of looking at statistics. What if we instead turn to analytics? Probably the most well-known analytic stat is player efficiency rating, or PER for short. This metric was created by respected basketball analyst John Hollinger to give an overall rating to a player's performance based on traditional stats like the ones we just mentioned. Jordan has led the league in PER 7 times, LeBron 6 times. Jordan has finished top 3 in PER 10 times, LeBron 9 times. In fact, Jordan has the highest career PER in both the regular season and the playoffs. Another popular analytics stat is win shares.
For the record, I believe Jokic has become number 1 in terms of PER in the regular season and the playoffs. Just FYI.
Jordan has led the league in win shares 8 times, LeBron 5 times. Jordan has finished top 3 in win shares 11 times, LeBron 6 times. And when it comes to win shares per 48 minutes, Jordan has the highest career rating in both the regular season and the playoffs. What about box plus minus? Until recently, LeBron was actually ahead of Jordan in career box plus minus. But after the 2017 season gave Russell Westbrook the greatest single-season box plus minus in history by a wide margin, the architect of box plus minus realized that the stat was fundamentally flawed. So he made some changes to improve its formula. As a result, Michael Jordan now has the highest career box plus minus in both the regular season and the playoffs. And lastly, what about value over replacement player?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I believe it's Jordan, but that does seem real fishy. LeBron was leading. Then all of a sudden, Westbrook blew LeBron and everybody else out the box. So the guy who created the formula went back to the drawing board, and now Jordan is crushing all over. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That seems very sus. However, it's not unbelievable because of the kind of player Jordan was, right? Like, let's be honest. But I if I'm gonna keep it a buck, I gotta keep it a buck. That reset and going back to the drawing board because it was Russ that smoked everybody. That's kind of suspicious.
On its face, seems to favor LeBron James. Well, value over replacement player is a cumulative stat, and as previously noted, cumulative stats speak more to longevity than they do game-to-game dominance. That said, according to value over replacement player, Jordan owns 6 of the 9 greatest individual seasons ever played. And on a per-game basis, MJ's career rating and value over replacement player is the highest of all time in both the regular season and the playoffs. Are you noticing a theme here? Not only does Jordan beat LeBron in every ratable analytic stat, he consistently ranks as the best ever across the board. Before we move on from analytics, I want to mention a lesser-known stat called game score, another brainchild of John Hollinger. Game score measures a player's performance in a single game, so it won't tell us who's had the better career, but it does provide insight into who's had the greatest games. Now, we only have game score stats since 1983, so you won't see any mentions of Wilt Chamberlain here. That said, of the 100 highest game scores ever recorded, incredibly 19 of them belong to Michael Jordan. In other words, nearly 1 out of every 5 of the best single-game performances over the last 4 decades has been by MJ. That includes the highest game score of all time for Jordan's 69.18 rebound masterpiece. Comparatively, LeBron has had only 3 of the top 100 game scores. When discussing the GOAT, Nick Wright is fond of asking this question.
The aliens come down. You have 1 game to save humanity. Who's your first pick in the history of the world?
Well, Nick, I think we have our answer. Now that I've finished drowning you in numbers, let's be real. Hardly anyone watching this video knows how to calculate PER, win shares, box plus minus, value over replacement player, or game score. And why should you? This is basketball, not Goodwill Hunting.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I know I say that a lot. I've been telling me in the comments, but bro, I thought LeBron would be leading in this. Like, I was looking at this video and thinking when it comes to statistics, I was going to see Bron winning in this, at least this category. Longevity, I knew for sure Bron was going to have that, but bro, Jordan is number 1 in every one. Like, every single stat he showed, basically Jordan's 1, LeBron's 2. Jordan's 1, LeBron's 2. Jordan 1 is LeBron 2. LeBron was even 3rd in one of them. Like, Jordan really, bro, he's literally just a winner. Like, this is crazy. It's crazy to me, like, looking at this. This play, like, the first 15 minutes of this video, bro, it don't even seem close to a debate right now.
Yo, that's what we be trying to explain it, yeah, but it's like it doesn't register. And it's because you didn't see it. We was there for it live, direct. Like, we witnessed this shit every night, every time this dude was on the court. This is what we got. This buffoonery going on with your king, we didn't get that. So when you try to tell somebody that saw Jordan live and direct that what they're watching now is better than what they saw, it doesn't register. Now, these dudes that saw it and they still want to promote this product as being better and way better than what they saw, they have an agenda or something is wrong. They cuckoo in the head. One of the two, period. Because anybody with any eyes know what they like. It's not even close, bro.
It really doesn't.
So let's go back to the traditional stats that we all know and understand. But this time, let's add context to them. What do I mean by context? Well, some positions are simply better than others at racking up certain stats. Let's take rebounding as an example. In a vacuum, if we simply compare the number of rebounds per game of Brook Lopez and Jason Kidd, we might think that Lopez was the better rebounder. The truth is, relative to their positions, Lopez is statistically one of the worst rebounding centers in NBA history, whereas Kidd is statistically one of the best rebounding guards in NBA history. But even a poor rebounding center can grab more rebounds than a great rebounding guard solely by virtue of their roles on the court. So it makes sense that, to understand the context of a player's stats, we should compare them to the respective positions that they played. When comparing LeBron James to the other small forwards who have played at least 500 NBA games, this is where he ranks. Overall, that's pretty impressive. Now let's see how Jordan compares to all shooting guards who have played at least 500 NBA games. As good as LeBron is compared to other small forwards, Jordan is on another level when compared to other shooting guards. He's darn near the top of...
Let me see this, bro. Dang, all them chase down blocks are just highlights, bro. I was thinking LeBron.
Very important point. That's why I said this young dude is on point, and that's why I have faith in the generations going forward, right? Some of these dudes, they're going to be swept up in the hysteria, but it's going to be people like this young man here who's really looking at the numbers and analyzing and going back and asking questions and really like trying to understand. And that's what's going to propel it forward. You know what I mean? And keep the truth what it is. Right. What you was watching was highlights, fam.
LeBron was really out here blocking like that when it comes to the blocking. Bro, Jordan doesn't rank in double digits in any stat, bro. Any stat in his position, he's top 10. Any stat. LeBron, you gotta get it together. This is not even... It's not even
every
fair.
major statistical category. And there isn't a single category where...
Yo, he said it's not even fair. Look at his face. Yo, he said, yo, it's not even fair. I'm sorry about that, fam.
where LeBron is better than MJ relative to his position, other than assists. So to sum up statistics, whether comparing traditional stats or analytics, and especially when judging these players in the context of the positions they played, Jordan has a noticeable edge over LeBron. As such, we have to give the checkmark to Jordan.
Starting today, anyone can monetize with ads.
This man Jordan is killing LeBron right now, bro.
And that takes us to the last category in our GOAT analysis, the eye test. And to be clear, by eye test, I don't mean which of these players is bigger, faster, or jumps higher. None of that is relevant unless we're having a track and field competition. And frankly, if physical measurables mattered, then George Murasan would be in the GOAT conversation. No, what I mean by the eye test is, if you sat an average basketball fan in front of a TV to watch a player in action, what would he notice that the player is and is not great at? Thankfully, I happen to be an average basketball fan, and I've had the privilege of watching both LeBron and Jordan during their playing days. So unlike a lot of my fellow YouTubers, I haven't merely relied on highlight videos. Here's what my eyes told me when I saw Michael Jordan play, particularly during his playing days with the Chicago Bulls. He was the best offensive player in the game. He was arguably the best defensive player in the game. He had the best mid-range game. He was the best finisher at the rim. He had the best post-up game, which is incredible considering most players who dominated the post were big men. He was wide.
I want y'all to pay attention to that. He had the best post-up game. A freaking 6'6" guard. Please explain to me, right? You had other athletes, other players who are much bigger than Michael Jordan. 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet. Trash post-up game. So do you understand what we talking about here? You had a 6'6" guard who had a masterful post-up game versus the bigs who are supposed to be the post-up kings. A big with a post-up game is damn near virtually unstoppable. Huh? Give me a break. Look at all of the 7-footers walking around in the NBA now with no post-up game. But they're more skilled, right? This era is more skilled. Y'all need to knock it off.
Widely considered the most clutch player in the game. He was regarded by opponents as the fiercest competitor on the court. He was regarded by teammates as the hardest worker in practice. And when all was said and done, amongst the other stars of his generation, he was the greatest winner. Now, when you're playing against the elite athletes of the world, to be the best at any one of those things is pretty remarkable. But to be the best at all of them? I tell you, it's impossible, but for the fact that we saw Michael Jordan do it. And when it comes to the GOAT debate, that's the biggest hurdle facing LeBron. He's basically being compared to a guy who was great at everything and practically had no weaknesses.
Yo, Jordan,
seriously,
crazy.
Judging by the eye test, what's the worst thing we could say about Michael Jordan's game?
I don't even know.
Probably that he wasn't a very good three-point shooter. Jordan shot 33%.
You see, like, when I was writing to that video at first, a lot of y'all were saying Jordan's a shooter, but like he said, I was just watching the highlights, and the only thing I could point out for his weaknesses that I can even see, Jordan's not even a bad three-point shooter, but the only weakness I could find, like his weakest part of his game, was his three-point shooting. And even that, he's good at. Like, I seen y'all was talking about that six three-pointer game against Trailblazers. I didn't watch the full clip, but I seen a little bit of it in the highlights too. Yeah. Jordan, you got it.
From beyond the arc.
Yeah, he does have it, fam. And you know why, too? Because he shot 32, 33%. In the regular season, 32% in the regular season from three. Do you know where he shot in the playoffs from three? Huh? He has a higher shooting percentage than your king in the playoffs when it really counts. And they didn't shoot threes like that, fam. So now go do your research. I'm not going to even tell you the numbers, but just let that sink into your mind. Michael Jordan has a higher three-point shooting percentage in the playoffs and in the finals than your king. Say less.
In an era when the average player also shot 33%. So when it came to three-point shooting, he wasn't good, he wasn't bad, he was just average. But remember that Michael played in an age when the three-point shot wasn't a big part of the game. During Jordan's years, teams averaged only 9.5 three-point attempts per game, and Michael himself attempted less than 2 threes per game. And if being an average three-point shooter is a weakness of Michael's game, well, then we also have to call it a weakness of LeBron's game. The difference is that LeBron plays in an era where the three-point shot is a huge part of the game. During the years in which LeBron played, teams attempted on average over 21 threes per game, and LeBron himself averaged 4.3 three-point attempts per game, or 2.5 times as many as Jordan. Despite the increased emphasis on threes, LeBron's career shooting percentage from beyond the arc is only a hair better than Jordan, at 34%. And it's actually slightly below his peers, who averaged 35% from three during his era. But to reiterate, being an average three-point shooter was by far the worst part of MJ's game. For LeBron, it's not even close. LeBron, in fact, has 4 major weaknesses as a basketball player, each of which is readily apparent to anyone who has actually watched him play. First, he's not a good free throw shooter. For his career, LeBron has shot around 73.5% from the free throw line, which is pretty poor for a player who handles the ball as much as he does. In fact, many analysts point out that, at the end of games, LeBron shies away from driving to the basket because he's afraid of being sent to the line. I don't know whether that's true, but what I do know is that the odds of LeBron hitting 2 consecutive free throws...
I remember like 3 years ago I was hearing this, or when LeBron was really going back and forth with the Warriors, I was hearing this a lot, that LeBron James wouldn't take the last shot of the games, or he wouldn't drive to the basket because he didn't want to get fouled and have to shoot free throws at the end of the games. I've seen a lot of analysts say that.
It's statistic.
Fam, you ain't got to listen to the analysts. You could go back and look at his games, man. The evidence is there. You can see in crucial moments, but he disguises it as making the right play. No, there's the right play and there's a winning play. And you got that's another game. Just because this man is open, you don't pass him the ball just because he's open. You know why? Because if you understand that player you're passing to got butterfingers, he might fumble the ball. No, you got to take matters into your own hands and ensure the result that you want. Winning plays. It's a difference, bruh. And you don't have to listen. You can see it for yourself. You got to put in the work, do the research. Now, has LeBron gotten better? Yes, he has. But from the time that he was supposed to be all world, your man used to run from the line. He used to run from the responsibility and put it on other people's shoulders because he didn't want to fail. Stop playing. Anybody with any basketball common sense could see that.
Basically not much better than a coin flip. Jordan, on the other hand, shot a solid 83.5% from the free throw line during his career. And MJ never shied away from contact at the end of games.
Never! Never ever? Never ever, fam. Never ever.
LeBron's second weakness is that he's an inconsistent defender.
Bro, come on,
sure,
bro.
He's had some years where he was elite defensively, which is evidenced by his numerous selections to the NBA's all-defensive team, but he's also had several years where he's practically been a liability on the defensive end. Compare that to MJ, who during his Bulls days was a consistently elite defender. In fact, Jordan is the only player to rank in the top 5 amongst all guards in both steals.
Jerry West. Dog. Jordan, you were really this good. Like, this is crazy. You really were that good, huh? Like, it's not over exaggeration. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When I hear about Jordan, I be thinking, most time I hear about Jordan people, I be thinking they be just over exaggerating, saying this, saying that, just the talking. But like, looking at the stats, he was that dude.
Per game.
Very important point that he said there. Most of the time, and this is a young man, I don't know how old he is. He's probably not older than 25. He talking about, I hear people talking about it. I think they just talking. Nah, fam. This was real. This was a real thing. This was a real thing. It wasn't no cap in this. We saw a player from the future. Because that's what he was. And he's still better than all of these dudes. Still. Which is even crazier. If you're really thinking about it, when you're talking about an anomaly, that's what we're dealing with here. Jordan was from what? That they're not going to catch up to 2030, 24, 2035 or something like that. Right now, y'all still got a long way to go. You know why? Because he does it on both ends of the court. What you looking at right now, top in steals, top in blocks as a guard. These other guards, what was they like on the offensive end? You know why they not mentioned as greats? Because offensively, they weren't that good. This dude was the complete thing, man. Complete.
And blocks per game for his career. Additionally, Michael led his position in defensive win shares practically every year that he played for the Bulls, an incredible 10 times. LeBron, comparatively, has led his position in defensive win shares on just 4 occasions, and in 5 of his last 7 seasons, he didn't even crack the top 10 at his position in defensive win shares. Now, some will excuse LeBron's recent fall-off on the defensive end as a byproduct of his resting on defense so that he can have more energy on offense. And we can debate the merits of that strategy. But resting on defense is not something Michael Jordan was ever accused of doing. Heck, even as a 40-year-old, he was busting his tail on the defensive end. But what about the notion that LeBron
is that Wizards Jordan snag blocking
on offense? And we can debate the merits of that strategy. But resting on defense is not something Michael Jordan was ever accused of doing. Heck, even as a 40-year-old, he was busting his tail on the defensive end. But what about the notion that LeBron's been the more versatile defender? LeBron supporters will argue that he can guard positions 1 through 5 on the court, such as when he guarded Derrick Rose for stretches in the 2011 playoffs. But LeBron's guarding the opposing team's point guard or center isn't something that happens very often. In fact, during his career, LeBron has spent less than 5% of his total minutes guarding the opposing players 1 or 5. So the versatility argument is highly exaggerated. And look, when it comes to versatility, Hometown Buffet may have a more versatile menu than Spago. That doesn't make it a better restaurant. LeBron's third weakness is that he's not a very good shooter. And this is a pretty significant flaw for someone.
Yo, you see how he broke down the versatility argument? Because, y'all listen to this media spin and y'all get caught up. And then LeBron fans, y'all so desperate to get anything that you can. It's highly overrated. LeBron has the ability to guard 1 through 5. He really does it. He's not doing it like Magic did it when Magic had to play center, right? He does it in little short, but like, come on, y'all overdo it. Y'all rid? Go ahead, man.
Claiming to be the GOAT. I mean, shooting the ball is the quintessential skill in the game of basketball. It's the part of the game that everyone practices, whether on the playground, at the YMCA, or in the NBA. Now, some people will contend that LeBron is actually a better shooter than Jordan because he has a better career field goal percentage. And yes, LeBron's career field goal percentage is 50.4% compared to Jordan's 49.7%.
Okay, LeBron finally getting some.
What I said about placing stats into proper context. To help us understand context when it comes to shooting, allow me to introduce DeAndre Jordan and Tyson Chandler. We all know that DeAndre and Tyson were great rebounders and defenders, but what if I told you that they were also 2 of the greatest shooters of all time? That would be certifiably crazy. Yet if you look at all the shooting metrics, field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, Both of these guys rank near the top in NBA history. Of course, there's an obvious reason for that. As we all know, both DeAndre Jordan and
Yo, look at his face. Home. Yo, he's like, yo, what the
Tyson Chandler take a lot of their shot attempts on dunks, layups, and putbacks, which are extremely high percentage shots. Well, guess what? So does LeBron James. In fact, every single year of his career, the shot that LeBron James has taken the most has been within 0 to 3 feet from the basket. In other words, dunks, layups, and putbacks. More than 1 of every 3 of LeBron's shots has been within this point-blank range, which is aided by his playing in an era where it's been relatively easy to get to the rim, particularly when compared to the physical era in which Jordan played. And just like every other player, LeBron is really effective from 0 to 3 feet, hitting over 73% of these shots. But how does LeBron fare from outside this range? According to basketballreference.com, LeBron's shooting percentage from outside 3 feet is 37.5%. It's even poorer in the playoffs where he shoots 35.9%. And it gets even worse in close and late situations. In the last 2 minutes of games where the score is within 5 points, LeBron hits only 31.7% of his jumpers. Look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that these numbers aren't very good, which is probably why in the 2013 finals, the Spurs' defensive strategy against the Heat was to basically dare LeBron James to shoot. And keep in mind, this was against LeBron in his prime. Can you imagine an opposing coach using a similar strategy against MJ? Now, LeBron actually credits the Spurs for forcing him to work on his jump shot, but it's not as if his results have gotten much better since then. Here's LeBron's shooting percentage from outside 3 feet over the last 6 years. Yikes. Well, I'll give him this, he is consistent. For comparison, consider that in the last year of Michael Jordan's career, as an aging player on the Washington Wizards, Jordan shot close to 42% from outside 3 feet. While that's certainly not great, it means that even as a 40-year-old shell of his former self, Jordan was still a better shooter, a far better shooter than LeBron James. Unfortunately,
beginning of this video, I was so excited. I was thinking I'm going to see a close comparison. I was going to see LeBron and Jordan actually go back and forth in these comparisons, but this is not even close. That's really not close. If I'm being 100% honest, no troll, no being biased because LeBron was my favorite player. Jordan's better. I don't even think it's a question. I'm not gonna lie. I was really arguing people that LeBron's better. And seeing this video, Jordan, you got it, man. You the GOAT for real.
Basketball Reference doesn't have advanced shooting metrics from Mike.
Yo, not the fist on the side of the face. Yo, what? I don't mean to laugh at you, homie, because it is kind of crazy. I actually feel bad for you. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that you took the time and you taking it. You know, you dealing with the situation like a man, like a true warrior, and you understanding the facts. And you're not like the rest of these cokeheads that are drinking LeBron's milk. So I appreciate you, fam. Real talk. Torie Sama. You one of those. Facts.
Michael's Bulls days, when he was a significantly more efficient scorer. But few would argue that Michael was anything but a lethal jump shooter when he was wearing red and black. When it comes to shooting, all of us can recall practicing shots on the blacktop, counting down 3, 2, 1 before launching a shot at the rim. Well, if you were pretending to be LeBron James, you'd brick almost 2/3 of the time. Actually, that's not entirely true. If you were playing against a countdown, it would be much, much worse. And that gets me to the last major weakness of LeBron's game, his performance, or more accurately, lack of performance, in the clutch. Remember when people were praising LeBron for making a couple of buzzer beaters in the playoffs 2 years ago? They used these stats to claim that LeBron was better in the clutch than Jordan. But look at these numbers carefully. What stands out to you? How about this? People were using a sample size of less than 1 shot per season to make the case that LeBron was more clutch than Jordan. That would be the equivalent of polling just 100 people in the country to try to predict the winner of the next presidential election. So let's use more telling stats, shall we? Here's a situation that's often used to determine a player's clutchness. 5 seconds to go in the fourth quarter or overtime, and your team needs a bucket to either win or tie the game. It answers the age-old question, who do you want taking the last shot with the game on the line? It turns out that in the regular season and playoffs combined, LeBron has taken 94 such shots. That's a pretty good sample size. And how many of those 94 shots has LeBron made? 19, for a shooting percentage of 20%. Let me repeat that. 20%. Guys, that's not bad in the clutch. That's atrocious. Michael Jordan in the same situation shot roughly 50%. Yes, that's right. Jordan's...
Yeah, Jordan, you got it, bro. You got it. 20 to 50 is crazy. You telling me if the ball leaves his fingers in the clutch, you got a 50% chance that you win if the ball...
Yes, we're telling you that. Yes. And so imagine this, fam, and all of you people that didn't see Jordan, right? Imagine this, that damn near 50% of the time that there was a clutch basket to be made, he made it. That's what we was dealing with. So you see 10, 20, 30 games, and this dude is just doing it time after time after time after time after time again. It's like, yo, come on, man. And I was a Knicks fan. And he used to kill them every time they needed a basket. Oh, my God. It's crazy. Mike was crazy. I'm sorry. And I don't see nobody close to him right now. What are you talking about?
Touches his hands. That is crazy. A 50% chance.
Performance under pressure was the same as it was throughout the rest of the game. And that, my friends, is the definition of clutch. So there you go. When it comes to the eye test, our eyes tell us that one player, Michael Jordan, is great at everything and has practically no weaknesses. And the other player, LeBron James, while also having a ton of strengths, has several obvious flaws to his game. And when all is said and done, after analyzing the 5 key factors of being the GOAT, Jordan gets 4 check marks to LeBron's 1, making this GOAT debate, well, not much of a debate at all. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that LeBron James is a bad player. He's a phenomenal player. Personally, I have him on basketball's Mount Rushmore, along with Jordan, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell. He's just not Michael Jordan. And just to underscore how good MJ was, let's ignore LeBron and Jordan for a minute and focus on the other 3 players highlighted here, Kareem, Wilt, and Bill Russell. Most would agree that these are the 3 greatest centers in NBA history, and each of them has a strong case to justify his standing among basketball royalty. Wilt is an all-time great because he was an offensive force of nature, and he holds a ton of NBA records. Russell is in the conversation because he was a dominant defender and a perennial champion. Kareem also led his team to numerous titles, and in terms of individual awards and accolades, was the most decorated of the 3. Not to mention, he had the NBA's most unguardable shot. Now imagine a center that had all the best qualities from these 3 titans. A player like that would be the basketball equivalent of Thanos. Now add to that player the highest level of intangible attributes, such as a tireless work ethic, unmatched killer instinct, and an ability to deliver in the clutch. And now you'd essentially be looking at Thanos with all of the Infinity Stones, and no one would question whether this player was the greatest of all time. But the truth is, we don't have to imagine such a player. That player already existed. He just happened to be a shooting guard, not a center. When you think about it, Michael Jordan is the real-life version of an overpowered video game character. He had all the qualities we look for in a superstar athlete, and he had it in spades. He's basically Babe Ruth, if Babe Ruth played defense like Willie Mays. And that's why, even in comparison to the other all-time greats, he is truly in a class of his own. Simply put, he's the...
Yo, y'all see that? I want y'all to see something. I won't. Oh. Look at this, y'all. This is what I want y'all to see. 6'9", 6'9", 7 feet, 6'9". All right, Kobe. There go my boy Cole. All right, Cole. We give you love. 6'9", 7 feet. Y'all see something here? What's the difference? All right.
Class of his own. Simply put, he's the GOAT.
Wow, bro. Hey. Wow. I don't know what to say besides I was wrong. For years, I thought he was the GOAT. I thought he was close to the GOAT. I thought because, like, I don't know. Like, I watched LeBron play, but I'll say a big factor of me thinking he was the GOAT was for sure the media, social media. I see so many stats about LeBron this, LeBron that. And I always would see it every single day. And I feel like that kind of got me to think he was a GOAT to the point where I never took a dive to see if Jordan really was. But I remember when I watched The Last Dance, that's when I really thought to myself, what if LeBron isn't? That was the first time I really thought, like, Jordan might be really the greatest player. That's the first time I've seen anything about Jordan. But when I just keep thinking, like, and watching Jordan clips, Jordan highlights, Jordan videos, I realized, like, nah, Jordan's better. Like, it's actually not close. It's kind of crazy. I was not expecting, I know I said crazy a lot in this video, but I was just not expecting the outcome to be like this. Bro, LeBron, bro. You're not who I thought you were. It's just crazy, bro. He's not who I thought. Like, I thought he was the GOAT. LeBron's still a great player, still my favorite player. Cause I was the one, I got to watch him. He was the GOAT in my era, so I got to watch him. He used to be my favorite player.
You can't call him the GOAT of your era. It's only one GOAT, bro. You could call him the best player of your era. But y'all got to stop with this throwing this GOAT term around, man. Greatest of all time. That's one person.
Still, but like someone told me in the comments yesterday, how many pair of Jordans you got? Like I still got Jordans. LeBron.
Still is a LeBron fan with you. Yo, I can't with y'all.
All right, fam, there you have it, man. But I got one question, and salute to Torie Sama and Danger Productions. How is it that someone who wasn't alive when Jordan played, someone who grew up on LeBron, can do some research and come to the conclusion Michael Jordan is a way superior basketball player than LeBron? But then the people that saw Jordan, very astute basketball minds, they say otherwise. Insanity at its finest. Get in the comments, fam, and tell me what you think. Till the next video, stay true, stay safe, and God bless.